Well, good morning, Otis, and happy birthday to you. Well, we're on our happy birthday walk this morning, and today we're starting off at the Newport Raglan Barracks. Yes, you go this way, Otis. So, Newport Barracks are located at the top of Barrack Hill, funny enough, which is at the top of the hill from where we started our walk the other day along the Newport and Brecon Canal. And here's the front entrance, which is right at the top of the hill. It's now known as the Raglan Barracks, and this houses the 104th Regiment of the Royal Artillery, as well as the Army Reserve Centre. So basically, you've got your Military Preparation College here. You've also got your 10th Platform D Company and 4th Battlement Parachute Regiment here. So it's quite a catch here for the local regiments. Okay, Otis, come on, let's go. So Otis isn't really interested in the barracks, but we'll update you a little bit more. So the Air Training Corps are also here. That's the 210th Squadron of Monmouthshire. And about 30 years ago, I helped them with their radio equipment up here. The Air Training Corps were interested in amateur radio, and we set up some aerials for them and a receiving station, which I believe is still here. So the Army Barracks was originally set up in the 1840s, I believe 1843, 1844, something like that. And it was one of the first barracks that the MOD set up in Wales, and that was for the local cavalry. And you may have noticed it said on there that it was the Raglan branch. And yes, in 1940, I believe it was, the first Baron of Raglan, Fitzroy Somerset, had the pleasure of having the barracks named after him, and it became the Raglan Barracks. Over this way, Otis. Otis, we're crossing over. It's a good boy. Plenty of advertising going on. Become a better you in the Army Reserves. And the Air Training Corps were based in this far top corner. And I believe the antennas are still there. They certainly are. Otis, just wait up here a sec. There we go. Just about make out the antenna array there in the corner. Otis eager to go for his walk. Yes, so Barrack Hill is in sort of in that direction, and then here we are now walking along All-Terrain Avenue. Oh, Otis. Hey, Otis. What's it like being 1 year old? I can't believe my puppy dog is now 1 year old. And it must have been 1 year ago, plus 12 weeks, that we picked him up. So that's his annual anniversary of becoming our buddy. Right, wait there, Otis. It's a good boy. And this is where we switch to all-terrain view. Now, all-terrain is renowned for being an upper-class area of Newport. Although the people are very friendly and just the same as anybody else in Newport. Typical Newportonians, happy, jolly, and those ready to give a hand. Very helpful people indeed. So once the barracks were built, a little bit after that, the all-terrain hospital was constructed, and that was around about the 1890s, and that was built as an infectious hospital. It didn't mean that the hospital was catching on, but what it did... Hang on, what's on your ear there, Otis? Oh, hang on a minute. 1 second. No, it's only a seed. Okay, so yes, so the hospital was built to house 57 beds for overnight stay, and it became the place to go if you had any nasty infectious diseases, things like polio and pox and such, and you ended up at all-terrain hospital, which boasts some great views, but not the place you'd like to be. Oh, poo time, stand by. There we are, hang on, just back and wait there. Otis, I just want to show the sign for Grove Farm. So Grove Farm offers home crafts refreshments, and it's literally just over the canal bridge, which we passed by the other morning whilst we walked along the Risker stretch. It came from the opposite direction, and this way it's actually part of the cycle route. You just about to see it through the trees. So we can head down the path here, which will take us straight down to the canal, and we can walk along the canal for a little stretch, or we can go through the nature reserve. I think Otis would like a little bit of time off his lead, so Otis, you ready for a little walk off lead? Wait, not yet, I've not unclipped you. There you go. Okie dokie. He's free. Okay, I'll just pause this a moment just so I can put the lead away. Okay, young man. Let's enjoy your freedom. I bet those who are from Newport thought I was going to take a walk up along the all-terrain lane past where the hospital used to be. I say used to be, and that's the reason why I didn't bother going that way. The hospital's not there anymore. It was demolished umpteen years ago. I say umpteen because I'm not quite sure whether it was 10 or 12 years or maybe more. There's a housing estate there now, but it was demolished as it was unused. And hence a lovely housing estate built there now, boasting grand views across Newport and across the northern countrysides. So we're now right in the heart of the all-terrain wildlife reserve. You can hear the birds tweeting away. Let's keep our eyes peeled for foxes, otters and stoats, badgers, and as we get nearer the little ponds at the bottom, we may even come across some kingfishers, which would be absolutely amazing. So we'll keep our eyes open, probably a little bit early in the morning. Or a little bit late in the day actually for the animals, but the birds are obviously up and about, so we might get to see a kingfisher or a heron. That would be great, wouldn't it, Otis? So whilst we're walking along the canal as well, I pointed out a stile which led across to here at the bottom end of the reserve, and these steps is the way up from down there. But we're going to carry on down the lane. In the background you can probably hear the motorway droning away. It's literally about 200 metres to our right, just through the trees. If you remember from the canal walk, you'll realise how close the motorway is to us. Come on, Otis. Oh, another wee. You're going to have an empty tank soon. Now I believe that the bottom of the nature reserve will lead us on to the beautiful slopes of Little Switzerland. So it's an area that was nicknamed Little Switzerland back in the 60s, when many photographers came around to take photographs from the top of Ridgeway overlooking Mountain, Tumbalum and the Mynydde Mine Hills, right away across to the Skirrid. And I believe you can actually make out part of the Sugarloaf, which is another mountain set or range to the north of Crickhowell, up towards Abergavenny. Otis, come here a minute. Otis, come here. Now stay with me, because they're coming up to the ponds. Otis. Good boy, you stay nearby. Here's where we may see a kingfisher or two. Not much going on today, so here we are at the ponds at the bottom, or the baseline of the Otis, out of the water, at the bottom of all-terrain. Beautiful woodlands around here. So if we cut across to the right, it'll take us down to the canal, and if we follow this path along, it'll also take us to the canal. So today we're going to go for a little walk around what is nicely known as Little Switzerland. Go on through, Otis. Good boy. This is all still part of the wildlife of Newport, and once again there's a wee app for you. This way, Otis. So from here we're at the northern lower base of the Ridgeway Hills. And back in the 80s, the top of the Ridgeway would be swarmed with vehicles with lots of antennas on them. And it was a haven for CB radio enthusiasts. I mean, it'd be nothing to have 30 or 40 cars all packed up, all trying to talk to people across the water. But the CB radio band, that's the Citizens Band Radio, was so busy in the 80s that communication was almost impossible over any distance, due to the amount of people using the minimalist set of 40 channels. There are a lot of illegal radios out there which use the amplitude modulated frequencies, but they were illegal to use, and you could end up in prison even, because the simplicity of the transmitters they used would interfere with the police and the ambulance service, which was not a good thing. So the emergency services would lose their radio communications every now and then, especially as the main police and ambulance and fire service transmitter in the Newport area was based just at the top of this hill. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, Newport is surrounded by gorgeous woodlands and walkways. Otis, don't eat the grass, come on this way. Wow, that's great. Somebody's planted a beautiful structure. In layman's terms, it's called a rest stop. I'll sit here and wait for Otis whilst he's sniffing out some foxes down there. Oh wow, that didn't take long. I was going to sit down here, Otis, as well. Admire the view and the soaring seagulls. Some beautiful blue sky appearing now. Okay, Otis, should we continue our walk? Should we go onwards and upwards? So a little bit of history about CB radio. You've heard me talk about CB and amateur radio and stuff before. Well, as you know, I'm an amateur radio enthusiast, and prior to that I was an avid CB radio enthusiast. And back in the 70s, if you remember films such as Convoy, Smokey and the Bandit, things like that, and the great TV weekly show Dukes of Hazzard. Well, it was just great glamour in having the CB radio and be able to talk to everybody. A little bit like the Facebook of today. It was our only communications network at the time. Now in America, they legalised CB radio in the late 60s. But in the UK, no, it was classed as illegal because it interfered with all emergency services. Mainly due to amplitude modulation. Hence in the 1980s, the very early 1980s, actually 1981, a new Act of Parliament came through and CB radio was legalised in the UK for a maximum of 4 watts and a maximum aerial length of 1.5 metres, which is pretty rubbish, but it was a start. The only ultimatum was UK had its own batch of frequencies, 40 channels, but using frequency modulation. So it was an FM type modulation, which means that the signal that was being broadcast would not interfere with the emergency services. And it wouldn't interfere with your television sets either, providing you stuck to the legal limit of 4 watts effective radiated power. That's the power that is radiated from the aerial. Hence most radio sets were actually only about 2 watts because some of the aerials were quite efficient in giving you a little bit more power. Anyways, we're not here to talk about CB radio and amateur radio. Here to enjoy this gorgeous scenery. And the sun is hiding behind the clouds this morning, but looking forward to a break where we get to see the glorious sunshine beaming through. Maybe by the time we get to the top of Little Switzerland. Hey Otis, you little collie cocker, how are you doing? Hey Otis, 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 did you know it's your birthday? Did you know it's your birthday? Did you know? Did you know? Yay, it is. And a happy birthday. Ah, gorgeous boy. Big kisses, I know. Come on then. Yeah, I got a wet face now. Slobbered by a dog. Gorgeous colours up here today. Just about make out the purple coming through the heather. And the giant purple weeds that are growing through. They look a little bit like lupins, but they're not. They're definitely weedy things. And the aerials I was talking about at Little Switzerland. There we go. That's the emergency services broadcast transmitter for West Newport, and hiding there is the local 5G cell phone transmitter. Hey dude, how you doing? Let's go. Well, I haven't walked this footpath since I was in Scouts. And I was asked the other day, is Scouts the longest going organisation for boys? Well, for girls now as well. And I had to say, nope, Boys Brigade came first. That was the biggest argument that we used to have as Scouts. What came first, Boys Brigade or Scouts? Well, Baden-Powell created the Scouts in 1907. I don't remember the guy who invented the Boys Brigade, but I'm sure it was 1887. Otis, this way. It's a good boy. So hence, Boys Brigade Association is a lot older than the Scouting Association. And in 2017, I think it was 10 years after the Scouts were formed, a younger group of children were taken out on activities, and they were known as the Cubs, and they were the Cub Scouts. So they were the introductory group to outdoor life and fun prior to joining the Scouts. And their centenary was obviously 2017, and we were invited along to both Wales, Vicky and I, along with the Midwest area of the British Model Flying Association, where we performed some aerial displays with our model aircraft as part of the centenary show. So there we go, a little bit more knowledge. Totally out there. Yeah, I can't remember how we got onto that. Oh yeah, somebody was asking about the Scouts. So I joined the Scouts in 1980 or 79, 1979, because my first Scout camp was at Tredegar House in Newport in 1979. That would have been around about April time. Hang on, I stand corrected. I just realised 1977 I joined the Scouts because I just missed the Landover Jamboree. So it must have been late 1977, early 1978 that I joined the Scouts. And my first camp was at Tredegar House, but it was in April 1987. Sorry, 1978. Put your teeth in, Andrew, and get things right. Which means I must have started St. Joseph's High School around about the same sort of time. Anyway, enough waffling from me. What do you think of this countryside? Welcome to Wales, or rather, welcome to Newport area. Absolutely gorgeous. And peeping through the trees, you can just about make out the transmitter mast at the top of Mynydd Macen, rather, which is the hill above Risca and Macen. How you doing, Otis? Are you enjoying this? No foxes today, as yet. All of a sudden it goes an eerie quietness here. Not a bird tweeting, just the rumble of traffic on the M4. And this guy walking up through the woodlands chatting away to his mobile phone. Okay, young Otis, I'm trying to work out which way we head. Oh, Otis, look at this, straight in the mud. Otis, come on, out of the mud. I think it must be this way. Well, that's bizarre. Okay, yes. Well, we just followed a stile which took us through that way. But we'll head back up this way then. This happened to us in Collie on as well, didn't it, Otis? We thought we were following a footpath and ended up not. This is definitely Newport common ground, though, because you can tell the way that they've cut around the periphery. There we go. How's it doing, Otis? Well, I believe a lot, don't I? I think we're now at the foot of the little Switzerland hill. We sure are, I'm sure. To be sure. Come on, Otis. It's a good boy. We may even get a sunshine. He's trying his hardest to peek through. Oh, just off into the woods again. Well, I always find the all-terrain walkways very reminiscent of the Christchurch walkways. And again, just to go back to our CB radio days, we knew this as High Ground 1 and Christchurch as High Ground 2. Both very good takeoff for radio communication. Oh, look at this, I've got shadow. That means Otis hasn't yet, he's not tall enough. That means the sun is peeping through. Good morning, sunshine. Well, I can't think of any historic event that's happened up at All-Terrain, or rather the Ridgeway, although back in the wartime when all the houses around here were bombed, if you remember, I was telling you about the Treberth and the Bishpool estates. Well, the Ridgeway estate was also populated with prefabricated houses, and the same thing has happened to them over the last couple of years, or the last 10 years I should say, and they've all been bulldozed to the floor and newly erected brick buildings in their place. So I think they're still bungalows, just like the ones at Bishpool. Otis, you stay nearby, because you're near the main road. So the road here is known as Ridgeway. Otis, this way. No, Otis, over here. We'll stay this side of the fence, the hedge. Okay, so we're now reaching the top of Little Switzerland. And earlier on I mentioned the photographers back in the 70s coming up here and taking lots of photographs of the idyllic views. And that they are. Today, even though it's a little bit overcast, today is no different. And as I walk up towards the pinnacle, we'll swing around and show you some views. Okay, zooming to the north, we can make out the Skirrid, we can make out the Blorange, we can make out the Pontypool hill, or Pontypool Mountain it's known as, but it's actually a hill with the aerial on top, and that was the Blenavon transmitter for Wales, for BBC Radio Wales. It may still be. And this is Old Mynydd Mine, which leads on to the Twmpath at Tumbalum, where the Iron Age settlement was found. And then we paddle along over to Macon Mountain. Absolutely gorgeous. Now looking lower down, we have the Tredegar House estate, where it stretches over to the Tredegar House Golf Club. Right, 1 second. We've just put Otis onto the lead now because there's a few more walkers around, actually joggers, so I've put him on the lead just so he doesn't run around them trying to herd them up. He thinks he's a sheepdog. Being a collie and a cocker, he's a very playful dog indeed, and he's 1 year old. Amazing stuff. So we're going to sign off today. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and there's the all important comments. Leave some behind and say hi. And if you'd like to be updated or notified on any future videos, please click the notification bell. And in the distance there, you can just about make out the M4 motorway. And I'll give you one last panoramic view looking from the Ridgeway, aka Little Switzerland. Cheerio!